The best quarter for Bitcoin is about to start, and exactly the same thing is happening once again with creating a bullish bias breakout pattern before eventually heading off in Q4, which is the most bullish quarter for Bitcoin and crypto. So that is what we need to discuss within today's update video. We will discuss a lot more than only that, like all of the most important Bitcoin price data, some important economic data we have been seeing coming out yesterday, and also some important upcoming economic data for today. And tomorrow, we'll take a deep dive into the Fed cut rate probabilities and also into Ethereum and somewhat of altcoins. So from there, guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos. And then we can dive into the most important content. Since Bitcoin is doing something we have seen a few times before this bull market. Always before Q4, we have a bullish buyers breakout pattern, initiating the breakout to the top side, and always in Q4 the most amounts of gains are made. So this is going to be a super important phase in the market, and once this Bitcoin falling wedge is going to break out, I'm expecting that final Bitcoin wave and push higher. Just like we saw with this bull flag in 2024 and this somewhat of a broadening or a megaphone pattern in 2023. So I'm expecting something similar once that falling wedge is going to break out, because Q4 is going to be the most bullish period for Bitcoin and crypto here. So this is not going to be the time to lose your attention, in my opinion. Also because we have the Bollinger Bands actually contracting to some of the lowest levels ever. So also that is going to be important to understand, because every single time this happened, every single time we came in this zone for the Bollinger Band we always saw the Bitcoin price contracting and then seeing a massive push higher. It happened every single bull market, and we also have seen it one time before this bull market here. So also this is going to be a major Bitcoin buy signal, in my opinion, and I'm very bullish on the ending stage of this cycle here. We still have some liquidity stacking up for Bitcoin at the top side here. Also at the lower side some liquidity is building up, so it's hard for me to predict where Bitcoin is going to be grabbing the liquidity next. But most of it is still stacking up at the top side. So in my opinion, that still does look quite good. We also have this hidden bullish divergence playing out for Bitcoin, which is yet another huge buy signal. So you have this hidden bullish divergence, you have the Bollinger Bands, and you know that Q4 is usually one of the best periods for Bitcoin seasonality wise. Then we have a lot of charts which are showing us that Bitcoin could be initiating that final move higher quite soon here. Just like this hidden bullish divergence is doing, which is going to be a bullish bias pattern, like we can see here, where the RSI has been trending down and the Bitcoin price has been trending up, and confirming the hidden bullish divergence on the weekly candle here. So also that is looking absolutely amazing. The Bitcoin seasonality is at a turning point, because this is usually the phase for Bitcoin where we do start to see more upside, and the weak seasonality of September is starting to fade out a little bit. So from now we should be expecting Bitcoin to be trending higher. Maybe we could see some weak seasonality still kicking in later in September. It could be a little bit different, of course, but it seems like we are entering a more bullish stage in the market now. And in that stage, I do think Bitcoin will be filling up this CME gap. We still have this CME gap from a few weekends ago lying above us, and 95% of these CME gaps tend to fill up quite quickly. And I do think this is going to happen once again also for this CME gap. So Bitcoin is looking quite good. We are still trading in September, of course, and we do know that that is usually a weaker month for Bitcoin, but in my opinion it's not going to be that important. Yes, we could still be seeing some weaker seasonality kicking in, but we do know that Q4 is going to be bullish, so it doesn't really matter. I do think your time in the market is going to be more important here than exactly trying to time the market, so keep that in mind. We could still see some negative seasonality kicking in, but ultimately in Q4 we are going to make some nice profits, I think so. Then with Bitcoin not catching up with the global liquidity yet, but ultimately I do think Bitcoin is going to do so, and then you are looking in quite a big move to the top side for Bitcoin still, with ultimately a blow off top also. The global liquidity is now also trending higher here, so you do want to see basically the global liquidity making new all-time highs here, breaking out. That could be very bullish for Bitcoin, and maybe we could be looking at somewhat of a longer cycle then. But yeah, let's simply see how that data is going to be playing out for Bitcoin. And also we have some important economic data dropping with the CPI on next Thursday, and actually after all the CPI data lately we have seen Bitcoin dumping, so this is going to cause a lot of volatility, I think. Also yesterday we saw the US non-farm payroll revisions coming out, and that was actually quite bad data for the US labor market, because almost 1 million jobs less than expected were added to the US economy. So actually it was quite bad data for the US labor market here, so it seems like rate cuts are definitely incoming. Also today we have the US PPI data dropping, and that's going to give you your first insight on how the CPI is going to look like. The only thing you don't want to see for Bitcoin and crypto now is going to see a very high CPI print, because that could be lowering the Fed rate cut probabilities a little bit. So let's hope that's not going to be the case. But if you do want to get updated about this in real time, just make sure to join my live streams, because I will be live streaming all of this important US economic data and the effects on the crypto market. Also, I will be updating everyone in my private Telegram group here, so also make sure to join this group if you're getting interested in that, because I also have this Ethereum trade still open here with some limit orders if we are still going to see some weak seasonality kicking in. But I also have this $15,000 Ethereum position open, which is still close to my entry basically. And I will be updating about this trade, about all the most important data points in my private Telegram group also. So just make sure to join that group with this link in the description on this update video, and then I will see you there. Now I want to discuss some more Ethereum. Ethereum is still consolidating in this symmetrical triangle, which is a bullish bias pattern. So it seems like Ethereum is going to make a decision quite soon. Could also still be to the downside here, but a breakout seems to be coming inevitably. This is a bullish bias pattern. So if we could see the breakout to the top side from here, we could definitely see quite some bullish price action for Ethereum from there. So quite nice. Also, we have a lot of short liquidity piling up for Ethereum at the top side here, more than Bitcoin. So once Ethereum is going to initiate that breakout, I do think it could be a big one, because if you can grab this short liquidity, we could see the price moving higher quite quickly there because of all the short liquidity, of course. Also altcoins consolidating in this symmetrical triangle, just like Ethereum is doing basically. Also altcoins are coiling up here, so also that is looking absolutely amazing. Altcoins are showing a lot more strength lately, also divided by Bitcoin, compared by Bitcoin others. So the smallest altcoins compared with Bitcoin are now showing this golden crossover on the chart, and that is something you definitely do want to see, because in 2021, in the last post-halving year, when we saw this signal playing out, we saw that huge altcoin season getting started. So if that could be happening again here for altcoins, yes, then we are going to see some absolutely amazing price action. The Bitcoin dominance tends to be moving higher in September, so keep that in mind. This is still basically a very strong month for the Bitcoin dominance and a weaker month for altcoins, but now it seems like the Bitcoin dominance is actually coming down a little bit. But we know in most of the Septembers, in all of the latest years basically, we saw the Bitcoin dominance trending higher in September, so just keep that in mind. But it is probably going to be one of your last chances to be accumulating altcoins cheaply because of this data. The altcoin season index is now at 59 here, but exactly that is also why this is probably going to be one of your last chances to accumulate altcoins quite cheaply before that altcoin season is truly going to play out, because this is also the phase in the market where we are going to see these moves to the downside for the Bitcoin dominance. So keep that in mind. It's still looking quite good for altcoins here. And guys, that was it for today's update video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's update video, and I will see you guys in my next update video tomorrow.